What's it got to do with anti-Semitism? Sorry. What's it got to do with anti-Semitism? We're not talking about Jews. I'm talking about the state of Israel. I'm talking about what the state of Israel is doing. It's disgusting. Yes or no?
Of course.
Thank you very much. That's what we're talking about here. So the genocide that is happening...
It's not genocide.
It is a genocide. What do you call it then? Was it a party in the park? Of course it's a genocide that's happening.
Don't trivialise the point. Okay?
It's a genocide that's happening. You're telling me it's not a genocide. It is. What do you see it as?
By established definition,
right.
Okay, it's not a genocide. Genocide is Rwanda. Genocide is Turkey, Armenian Christians.
If
genocide
is on, what will happen to the people of Palestine? What does Israel want from the people of Palestine?
What should Israel do? What should Israel do? What should Israel do?
What should Israel happen if we sit quiet and zip mouth and watch this go on? It's a genocide in the making in our eyes right now.
What should Israel do?
They shouldn't do what they're doing now. They should go in there.
Answer the question. Yeah. What should Israel do?
Okay,
in response to what?
Can I?
In response to the murder over 1 million, over 1,000 civilians.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Sorry, mine's was him. Your name is?
Patrick.
Patrick, right.
And the other point is, this is, I've lived in Muslim countries, if I put up a sign...
Let's take one topic first.
Sure.
If I put up a sign in a Muslim country saying, your prophet is a Christian,
yeah.
Well, what do you think would happen? If I did that in Saudi Arabia or Qatar or any Muslim country, what would happen?
You probably get arrested, yeah.
Yeah, so therefore, you put up... I'm irreligious. The whole point here is that...
I can answer all those points, that's not a problem, okay? So, first point, you saw the banner here. Israel is committing genocide, okay? What's your problem with that factual statement there?
The factual statement is genocide has got a specific definition.
What is the definition?
The mass murder of civilians on an organised scale, where there's will. In the same way, let me finish the point. Turkey massacred over 1 million Armenian Christians in the early part of the 20th century. The Nazis murdered 6 million Jews in the 20th century. In Rwanda, the Hutus murdered it's mass organised killing. The whole point is,
could you say the definition one more time? The definition of genocide?
Mass organised systemic murder of civilians.
Okay. Now, what's happening in Gaza? What is that for you?
That is a terrible tragedy. It's appalling. It is killing. It's terrible. It's indefensible.
Okay, it's indefensible. I agree with you. So
but I understand why they're doing it.
When it's the mass murder of civilians in an organized fashion, it doesn't happen haphazardly. These missiles aren't launching themselves.
Correct.
Okay, and the most densely populated area on Earth, where you know for sure that there will be a deliberate killing of large numbers of people. Exactly. Yeah. Same definition. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that, I believe that fits that definition perfectly. So how does it not?
Are you saying when the American Air Force and our Air Force bombed Germany, bombed Dresden, bombed Hamburg, bombed Berlin, do you consider that genocide?
Yeah, I mean, if they're indiscriminately killing civilians, of course.
So therefore, when we were trying to defeat Nazi Germany...
Now, let's not go off the topic here.
Yeah, but you try to draw more...
Now, what I'm asking you is, you asked, what is the solution? You asked, now look, let me ask you a question. You said, okay, what should their response be? Let me ask you, how many civilians and babies, have you seen any videos coming out from Gaza?
Of course.
Have you seen them with your eyes? Shall I show you them so you can see them right now? Okay, so you can appreciate the state of affairs. How many children need to die for there to be a proportionate response? You tell me.
I'm not justifying what Israel is doing.
No, I'm not. But clearly you are. You're kind of saying this is.
No, I understand. This is the response. I understand what they're doing.
Yeah. So
let's have the context here.
Now let me give you another scenario.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's happening inside in Gaza is tragic, etc. Okay, I agree with you.
I agree with you.
Now, is whose fault is that? Is it that those civilians are dying? Whose fault is it?
Primarily Hamas's fault that they're dying because they're basically using Palestinians.
Say the word. As human shields. That's the one. Yeah. So the media has really brainwashed you quite well.
No, it hasn't.
So they who use the human shields. Okay. Now they're using the civilian population as human shields, even those who are in refugee camps and the babies and those. Of course, sure. It's their own fault. It's their own fault.
It's not their own fault.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Those Palestinian civilians are completely innocent.
Okay, great. So it's Hamas's fault, yeah?
Hamas effectively is using all those poor people When Hamas.
Sure. Now let me give you a scenario.
Yeah.
Now imagine Hamas was hiding inside Israel. Imagine Hamas committed those, was hiding inside Israel using the population there as human shields. Would the response of Israel be the same?
Probably, yeah. They have no choice.
So they would drop bombs on their own people?
Yeah, they would.
They would kill thousands of their own people?
Yes, they would.
I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. And you know for a fact that that would never happen.
For the simple reason.
Even this notion of human shield.
Use your mind for a second. Listen, use your mind for a second. Do you really think?
Let me finish.
Do you really think?
There's no justification.
But that's
no
how
point.
people are trying to justify it.
There's
This
no
human shield.
justify-
Israel bombs a hospital, kills 500 to 800 people, and the justification the Israelis.
There's no justification.
The justification
But there is
the
justification.
Israelis
There is
use.
no-
No. The Israelis use a justification
But I'm
saying
not
human
Israeli.
shields.
I'm not
No,
Israeli.
I'm giving you the. You said human shields. You said that the Hamas is using human shields. It's
Yes.
complete bullshit. I'm sorry, it's not.
So what-
When they bombed the hospital,
what should Israel do?
When Israel
What
are
they should
bombing
do, what they should do,
Yeah.
is they should have a special forces team who should go inside.
Right. Do you know
scared.
about urban warfare?
Why not?
Have you heard of Stalingrad?
Why not?
Urban warfare is the
Because they know they'll get killed, basically.
Simple as
They
that.
fire from
But
far because they're cowards.
When they wanted to get,
Coward.
when they,
The Israelis are cowards.
When they wanted
you can say a lot about the Israelis.
listen,
They ain't cowards.
when they wanted to get
100%
Osama bin Laden in Pakistan, what did they do? They had a special forces team who went
was one
inside there
man.
and they took him out.
That was one
okay.
man.
It doesn't matter. They've got the most highly
They're
equipped
so great,
military on the
they're
earth.
so brilliant and not cowards. Why don't
Dropping
they go in?
a bomb-
Because they know what's
listen.
going to go in when they go in. What's going to happen when they go in on the war?
Urban warfare.
Just like when Russia went into Chechnya.
But do you condemn? Let me just ask.
They got
Just to clarify,
annihilated.
just to clarify, because you're obviously you're. I know you're trying to be balanced. You think you're being balanced. But
See,
it's not your fault.
Why don't patronize me by telling me that your insight is something got more value than mine.
So say again, sorry.
Don't patronize me by telling me your insight is more value than mine. I've been respectful towards you. I can understand your point of view, but the whole
No,
point.
but when you say that that they can drop a bomb on a whole block of a block like this, okay, kill hundreds of people inside there for intelligence about maybe one or two insurgents or whatever enemies inside there from Hamas, that this is just collateral damage.
No, I didn't say that. I said it's an abhorrent to human beings. It's an appalling.
You know where Hamas lives? They have underground tunnels. So bombing overground, how's that going to affect them? They're based underground.
We're at cross purposes. With deep respect to you, I am not justifying what Israel is doing.
So you're happy to condemn them?
Yeah, I understand what they're doing. That's completely different from saying that I agree with it. It's a nuanced point. We
Sure.
don't see in the
Do you
case.
disagree with their approach?
No, he doesn't. I don't think.
No,
No,
let him answer. Let him
I
answer.
understand.
You understand him, but do you disagree with their approach?
To be honest with you, until you've seen what they have gone through and the suffering that they've had, it's difficult for me to critique them in the way that it's a complex
Do
thing.
you disagree? It's not complex. Do you disagree with Israel killing innocent women and children and men as well in Gaza in the way that they're doing it now? Do you disagree with that? Do you condemn that rather?
It's an appalling tragedy. Okay,
He's not going to say
You
it.
don't say it.
But look, would you condemn Hamas?
If they kill innocent human beings, absolutely.
Yes, we would.
No, well, you would. So do you,
Now, let me ask you again. Do you condemn Israel for killing innocent women, children, and men who have nothing to do with Hamas? Why? Okay, if Hamas is the problem, why are people in the West Bank dying
And have been
or
dying for years.
being killed rather?
And have been for a long time.
you're not listening to the nuance of my point.
Okay, give me the nuance of your
The
point.
loss of any life is terrible. I'm not justifying what Israel is doing.
Just answer the question, okay? Do you condemn Israel for killing innocent women and children?
The loss of any civilian is appalling.
But
So
do
you
you
won't
condemn
get-
Israel? Do you say the words? Can you not say the words out your
No,
mouth?
I can't-
Do you
can I-
find it very hard?
No, that's not that I find it hard. It just
Do you find it hard to condemn Israel?
I've
you think
Like you asked me about Hamas, okay? And really, I don't feel the need to condemn them because it's not really.
Why do you feel the need for me to condemn Israel? So,
Thank you.
why do
Okay.
you feel the need for me to condemn
No,
Israel?
I need to clarify where you stand in terms of your moral compass. Okay. Right now, you're happy to condemn Hamas on any atrocities which they may commit. I want you to have that same moral standing and condemn any other organization.
All atrocities are wrong.
I want you
by their
specifically
nature.
condemn Israel.
It's difficult to do so.
Yeah,
Because I could,
it's difficult because you have a double standard.
no, I don't.
You of course.
Yeah.
You're saying you'll condemn anything, but you will not condemn Israel. It won't come out your mouth. Say it.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Jazakallahu khair for tuning in. We hope you're enjoying this video and benefiting from it. Something that's come to our attention, what we've noticed is nearly 90% of our viewers are not subscribed to this channel. We want to make you guys aware that One True Message Foundation is completely non-for-profit. We are a non-profit organization, and subsequently we've turned off all advertising on YouTube. What we need you guys to do is share the khair with us, subscribe, like, and share this video to anybody else that you think may benefit. A small action, but we want you guys to share the reward and help spread the one true message. Jazakumullahu khair, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Say it. He's lost for words.
I'm not lost for words. There's no moral equivalence between Hamas and Israel. Israel is a democratic state.
Israel is
That justifies what they're doing.
Okay.
Oh, come on. There's
Hold on,
no equivalent.
Okay.
But there is no comparison with Hamas and that.
Let me clarify. So Hamas was elected in which way?
In 2007.
They were democratically elected.
I haven't had an election since.
They were democratically
How much did they
elected.
receive in
Now,
aid every year from-
now, what's the difference between Hamas and Israel? What's the difference?
Israel, their democratic elections. Israel is
Illegally
is a
land.
Let me speak.
Sorry.
Israel has got a free press. In Israel, there's diversity of opinion. There's 2 million Israeli.
So okay, I know Hamas is a prescribed terrorist organization. What is terrorism?
Terrorism is the use of violence to achieve political ends.
And Israel, would you agree that it fits this definition as a terror state, as a terrorist state? Using, give the definition again.
The use of violence to achieve political ends.
And what are they doing in Gaza?
What's happening in Gaza is terrible. It's an abomination.
I'm not asking if it's terrible. Are they using violence to achieve a political aim?
I don't know what their aim
It becomes
is.
lost for words when it's Israel. It's like a mind block. It's almost like a mind block.
It's what the
You know yourself in your heart of hearts that you can see how embarrassing it looks for you. And this is all on camera, by the way. You know that, yeah? It's all on camera. The inability for you to even open your mouth.
But even still, why, in the day, why had you have the courtesy to ask me that you're recording me?
Oh, I've got a mic right here. The camera's right there.
Why didn't you tell me so?
I mean, it's all visible. And,
That's all I didn't know.
it's not a problem. It doesn't matter. You should.
It's not a problem.
You should speak the truth, whether there's a camera or there's no camera. It doesn't matter, okay? And we record all of our conversations. And I'm glad we recorded it because it shows your double standard. On the one hand, you expect Muslims to condemn Hamas.
No, I don't expect Muslims to condemn Hamas.
You asked me to condemn
I
them.
asked you.
Okay, and you would happily ask someone else, but you will never open your mouth to a single Israeli asking them to condemn Israel. Because you don't have the courage to.
Why are you questioning my moral integrity?
Because I can see you've shown me a disparity in it right now.
But I have a divergence of opinion. Are we not entitled to a divergence of opinion?
Okay. Let's bring you back on the moral standing here. Would you condemn the illegal actions of Israel over the decades and decades and the current killing of women and children? Would you condemn that?
Oh, I definitely agree. I definitely violently, basically condemn illegal Israeli settler occupations.
Good.
The harassment of Palestinian people. That goes without saying. That's illegal.
And the killing of women and children that's happening right now?
The killing of women and children, of course, is wrong. But the whole point is...
It's wrong, but do you condemn them for doing it?
The whole point is that, of course, the loss of any women and children is terrible. But you can... I'm not Israeli. I'm not surrounded by loads
Just
of
say I'll repeat after me. I'll help you here.
There you go. Some fresh footage just come out.
You know, I mean, we don't need to... I mean, there's plenty of videos.
But that's terrible.
It's absolutely terrible.
Who's doing it? Israel. So why can't you condemn that act and speak out against it? This is what we're doing. We're speaking out against it because it's disgusting. You may not agree with the word genocide. If we sit
I'm giving you a chance here to redeem yourself.
I don't need
what is going to happen?
You need to be redeemed.
Why?
Because your double standard that you're clearly displaying here is visible for everyone to see. Even this lady stood here to see you sort of bring yourself to be a human being and condemn the atrocities you're committing.
The whole point is...
He's worried about losing his job. As simple as that.
Of course, that's a bit...
Yeah.
That's a bit unkind,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of cheap shot is unkind, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we'll see then. I mean,
I disagree with your opinion.
you said about Gaza. You said when they drop a bomb on Gaza, they're using them as human shields. I asked you, if Hamas were hiding inside Israel, would the Israeli army kill thousands of Israelis to get Hamas?
They probably would. They're so bloody ruthless. They probably would.
We're on the same page. I mean, if they did that, I'd be highly shocked because they're killing their own they're killing their own families. Okay, and I highly doubt that they would take the same approach as they're doing now. The ethnic cleansing and the land grab that's happening at the moment is the foundational point that's happening.
Of course, that's exactly. Any land grabbing.
That's exactly what's going to happen.
But that's what's going to happen. Carrying on.
Yeah.
Gaza's getting smaller and smaller
absolutely.
and smaller. They kicked everyone out of the north and said go down to the south. They've come in there. Now
let me ask you. Would you agree that Israel is one of the most technologically advanced militaries in the world? And the surveillance systems are one of the most advanced. They have the Iron Dome to stop any missile coming in. They have border checkpoints.
I used to think so, not anymore after Hamas achieved a spectacular...
Thank you. Now I ask you, how can they, with all of this military force and technology, allow people on hang gliders to fly in past, and not just for 10 minutes, an hour, for 6 to 8 hours, carry out what they carried out, and then not just that, take hostages and do all these atrocities they supposedly did, right?
Days,
Okay, hours. How long does it take for a fighter?
I agree.
For a helicopter, it takes 5 minutes for them to get there.
Yeah, that is extraordinary.
Yeah, it's not extraordinary. It's highly suspect. That was allowed to happen.
Netanyahu was on the fence right now, and he was going. Well, there's a lot
Netanyahu is an abomination. I criticize.
Yeah, and I must really say that as well. Okay?
Left, right, and centre, but Netanyahu.
So I think you need to take what you're. I think you need to take what you're told, and you'd agree as well, with a pinch of salt.
Yeah, I think if you did the mainstream channels,
yes, the mainstream channels,
they've covered the appalling loss of life.
When was the last time you heard a single news reporter asking Israel to condemn Israel?
They wouldn't do that. You know they wouldn't do that because
why not?
Because there'd be an extraordinary hostile reaction.
Why would they do that? So how are they being balanced then?
Because at the moment, the loss of so much civilian life in Israel is turning into blind.
Of Israel, or you mean Palestine?
Do you know how many people have died in Palestine so far within the last
2 weeks? 2 weeks.
It was 14,000, 13,000 people.
Yeah, and plus more than that who have been displaced. Millions have been displaced.
That's terrible.
Okay, now what they want you to focus on is the 7th of October. Okay,
no.
This is where it all began. And forget the last 70 odd years. But look, our objective is not that. Let me clarify for you. As Muslims, we've been told about the sanctity of life. Okay? Why do we not have an issue condemning other Muslims who are committing something wrong? Because Islam teaches us this, not to appease you. In the Qur'an it says that to save a single life is as if you save the whole of humanity. To take a life is like as if you killed the whole of humanity. Okay?
Yeah, I understand that.
The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he had a conduct of war. He had a conduct when they went to war. He said, do not touch the women. Do not touch the children. Do not touch the elderly. Those who are placed in their places of worship, the worshippers. Do not cut down a tree unnecessarily. Okay? These are the conducts that we have as Muslims that we've been given guidance on this. Now, if a Muslim goes against these teachings, of course, as Muslims, we say this person is not acting in accordance with Islam. Of course, we condemn that action for them. Okay? They themselves also, this conflict isn't a conflict. It isn't two equal sides. It is an occupier and an occupied people. Okay? They paint the picture as if they're equal to one another, which it's not. Okay, so you have to view it in that through that sort of perspective. But I think, look, with all due respect, getting the facts on the matter and trying to just be as morally balanced on it as you can, because you see, even when I ask you some of these questions, you struggle to answer. Why?
Yeah, because
why? Okay.
Judge not, so you may not be judged. And
you're happy to judge Hamas?
Because but Hamas is a terrorist. You agree that you agree it's a terrorist?
You know why? No, but I mean, Israel, for example, you said they fit that definition of terrorism as a terror state perfectly to the T. But the only reason we're not happy or we don't criticize them is because we are complicit to a certain extent in their actions. Why? Because our country
been criticizing Israel and the actions of Israel, which result in the loss of thousands of people's lives. That's obviously terrible and wrong.
What's the difference?
The difference is the fact that when you criticize Israel as the only Jewish state in the world, which is full of surrounded by hostile countries that want to do them harm, that's been attacked over and over again. Yeah. Have you heard this? Have you heard the Six Day War?
Yeah.
67?
Now, let me ask you.
If it's so hostile countries, why haven't they taken action and wiped Israel off the map right now? When Israel is committing atrocities against their Muslim brothers. So they're not that hostile. Let's be honest. All the states around are pretty well controlled and in cahoots with the Americans and Israel.
It's dirty politics.
Come on.
That's
Let's
a
be
fact.
honest. They're not that hostile. No. Because Israel likes to play hostile Muslim
We're the
countries.
victims. We're the victims.
Of course. What countries? What is Saudi going to do with it? Is Dubai going to do with it? Is Turkey going to do with it? For all the rhetoric of Erdogan.
They tried in the past.
Listen, the oppressor acts like the victim.
Oh yeah,
It's insult to injury. As an Irishman, you should be able to relate to a lot of this.
I agree on
The
one
Irish.
point. I agree.
You see the accent.
I agree
No,
on
I can't
one
tell.
point is that all whatever.
English should have bombed Ireland. I asked him. That's why I didn't answer that question. Maybe during the IRA, because then that would be. Would that be? Are you Irish, sorry, sir? Are you Irish?
Of course, you can see that accent.
Okay, so would you have said at the time when the IRA were committing bombing campaigns across the UK, which they were, back in the 70s, 80s, where it was, had
90s.
the British turned around and said, okay, the IRA are sitting in that place,
Using
let's just
human
go
shields.
bomb whole of County Down or Dublin or Belfast, let's just bomb the whole place.
And that's fine,
kill
yeah?
all the people. Would that have been all right with you?
Basically,
Would that have been all right with you? Yes or no?
this is the only problem now. Again, see, you just made my point for me.
Go on.
It's a complex area. Irish politics is a complex area, and so is. So you're judging.
Irish, it's not that complex. But to be honest, the Irish people have actually spoken up for the Palestinians, and they're actually.
They can
Yeah,
relate
but
to it.
you know why that is, though, don't you?
Go on.
Because intrinsic to Christianity and Roman Catholicism in particular is a strong strain of anti-Semitism running through the whole of Christianity.
I don't believe it's just anti-Semitism.
Look, there are Jews in Israel who are against the state of Israel.
Yeah, they are, yeah.
Okay, so it's not an anti-Semitic issue.
Well, he asked me a question about why Ireland.
Yeah,
This
no.
has got nothing to
I
do with.
don't believe that's why
Listen,
the Irish. I mean, you may know something I don't know.
The
but I know-
actions of the IDF and the state of Israel have in these issues have nothing to do with Judaism. Okay, Judaism teaches them they shouldn't even have a say in the first place.
that.
And there's Jews who are against
They shouldn't be
state.
owning land and-
So when we speak about Israel specifically, we're not speaking about Judaism. Of course, that's not in the equation because it's on these marches that you have, there's Jews who come there
Yeah, okay,
and they have the
yeah,
big,
I've
the
seen
hats
them,
on,
I've seen them.
and they're condemning the actions of Israel, and they're oppressed in their own country. Okay, because they speak out against it. So let's not even try to use that red herring of anti-Semitism because it's got nothing to do with
He
that.
asked me a question.
Yeah, I'm
about
with you.
why,
Yeah,
why.
but I mean that's commonly thrown around. As soon as you criticize Israel, you're criticizing
Well,
Judaism.
you can criticize Israeli state
And not-
without being anti-Semitic. I
Exactly.
understand that point.
And you
I
can
think the Irish are
and you can
doing
sup-
it based upon that reason. I think the Irish understand the injustice that's going to the Palestinians.
Oh, I on one point about Israel, all Israel is doing is creating is basically emboldening Hamas and creating brand new martyrs, the children of who are traumatized and destroyed.
exactly.
So therefore, it's pointless on one level. I agree with you on that point.
this approach is not going to end well for them. It's not going to, in the sense, in the long term. What do you think? Those, like you said, those children will become insurgents. They have no other objective than getting revenge. Okay, so they're compounding the problem here. But anyway,
Yeah.
you know,
But we've had a civilized discussion.
of course, we try to keep it very
No,
respectful
you're-
as much as
you're-
possible.
You're respectful.
Okay.
I mean,
But it's you can understand when we see in front of our eyes on a daily basis hundreds and thousands of people, children, babies,
Yeah,
mothers,
it's terrible.
and we see the videos. I mean, you may not have seen the graphic videos.
Yeah.
We've seen the graphic videos,
That's
and
terrible.
you hear the sounds and you hear what's happening there. It's hard not to be angry, passionate.
I am angry as
okay.
well. But the point is, you can be
And-
angry
and-
and still
and-
understand why someone is doing terrible things. And doesn't mean I agree with it.
Sure.
I promise to have a second think. But like, don't assume just because someone can disagree with you and still hold a
No,
diversity.
we asked them to clarify their own point, and you spoke it, and you had ample opportunity to clarify yourself.
On a closing note, you will condemn Israel for what they're doing. Just say it. Or we can't
Why?
say it.
No.
I'm just asking. Can you
Don't feel
say it?
compelled to say anything. If you believe what they're doing is wrong,
No, but what they're doing is wrong.
then
But
condemn. Then why can't you condemn a wrong action?
Because if I was in their shoes, then it would be different.
Sorry. So if you're in their shoes, then Hamas, not saying we're supporting Hamas here, but Hamas, if you're in their shoes, who have their land taken over, had their homes destroyed, have been pushed into this corner, and feel they're at war with Israel, then you can feel why.
Not but they're a terrorist organisation.
But you keep saying terrorist organisation. Israel is a terrorist organisation. It's a terrorist state. Who gave them this label of thing? Did you support back in the day the IRA with the fight?
Of course not. Those murdering bastards, psychopaths. Terrorism is always wrong.
But then when you went to Ireland,
never
one second. But when you went to Ireland,
terrorism is always
no, but
wrong.
when you would go to Ireland back then,
Why can't be a follow model of Gandhi?
one second. When you went back to Ireland and would have asked the Irish people, are they terrorists? They would say they're not terrorists.
Yeah, of course they would. The IRA of all
Exactly.
freedom fighters.
So
Condemn this
the word
terrorism.
terrorism gets defined by nations can choose who is a
Depends
terrorist
who-
tomorrow.
who's labelling
so now
who.
Hamas is the
I know,
terrorist.
I know.
But Hamas in their eyes,
Yeah, but,
in the Middle East,
but we
is
can
not-
all,
is not a terrorist.
of course, we can all agree that there are certain norms of behaviour which are outside.
Okay, one second. So agree. We agree with that. There's certain norms of behaviour which are outside the parameters of humanity. Yes.
Yes.
Agreed. And Israel is breaking all of them right now. Israel is breaking all of them. So we agree that Israel
murdering
is a terrorist state.
This supposed beheading
or
of
not agree?
babies, which never happened, okay, they retracted that, is barbaric, which never happened, of course.
I would. See,
But you know what's more? You know the thing. But somehow in our minds, dropping a bomb on a building and
but
exploding the heads of babies is civilized.
Of course, it's not civilized. It's
You know,
war.
there's a new
It's
weapon.
terrible.
It's all about words.
You know, I was speaking.
Yeah, but the
I
whole,
was
but the whole
speaking-
point is, I didn't ask you to condemn Hamas. You expected me to condemn Israel.
No, you did. You did ask.
You did ask.
God,
You did
it's on
ask.
every time.
You did ask me.
You know, I was speaking to someone
you a
from
lawyer?
Gaza yesterday.
I'm not a lawyer. No.
I was
Are
speaking
you a lawyer?
No.
None of
You know,
us
I
are.
was
We're just
speaking to
educated on
someone-
the issue.
Listen,
I'm not.
you know, I was speaking to someone from Gaza yesterday
Yeah.
who's got family there.
Yeah.
And he said, you know, Israel is using a new untested weapons down in there.
Yeah, full
And you
white
know what this
phosphorus
weapon- No.
and all these
Worse than white phosphorus.
Yeah.
When this missile drops, it the whole body disintegrates the body. You can't even see. So they don't even know when these missiles are landing
Yeah,
how many people have been
The
killed.
children are the
Red.
parents are writing the names of the children on their arms,
It is
so they can
terrible.
identify them.
It is terrible. It is
I
terrible.
mean, but you've got a smile on your face saying it's terrible. So how?
No, sir, I'm not smiling of the loss of thousands.
Yeah, no,
of
I don't think he's
civilians.
that bad. He understands.
I know.
He just can't condemn Israel for whatever reason.
Basically, yeah, but again, the nuance of the whole point.
But the
look,
nuance has been discussed. We've discussed these intricate
Listen,
parts.
just as you can understand what the Nazis did was bad, and you are happy to condemn them, rightly so.
IRA.
When you can understand what
Yeah.
Israel is doing, and how wrong it is, you should have the same confidence and same clarity in saying what they're doing is wrong, and I condemn what they're doing. But the reason you don't do that is because obviously our government and we are to a certain extent complicit in their actions, supporting their actions, with the line of Israel has the right to defend itself as an occupying force, defend itself, right, with its military power. And that defense entails the killing and oppression of millions of people. And that's a hard truth that many people don't want to swallow and accept.
the killing and oppression of millions of people is always wrong.
And this is why you can't condemn it, because you live here. You live here, and we're responsible for it to a certain extent, because we elected this government who are in support of that. So it's hard to condemn something you're involved in. It's easy to condemn Hamas because you're not involved with them. You got no part to play with them. But it's very hard to condemn the other way.
Sorry, take care, guys. Shake hands.
Your name?
Hey, Patrick.
Patrick, very Irish name as well. But that should have given it away. You take it. We'll see.
Patrick is actually Latin.
Oh, right.
It comes.
Do you want to have a conversation about that, Banner? Is that after? Is that another time?
Hey,
Another time.
no, I appreciate you listening to me, except for a few
Likewise.
patronising comments. And
You know what?
I will read more about this. And
I appreciate it.
I understand the passion of your arguments, and at least you're trying to do something. So.
Yeah.
Let
Trying
me-
to raise awareness.
Let me have another think about
We're here every
this.
We're here
Saturday.
every Saturday. Come by.
I won't bother you again. I think we've seen enough of
Come
it.
back if you change. We'd like to get. If you change your perspective,
God
come
bless
back.
you both.
Take care. Bye bye.